always on the track.
If you ain't talking money, then I don't want to talk.
Still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam them. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam them. Then I'm still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam them. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam them. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam them. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam them. Then I'm still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam them. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam them. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam them. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam them. Then I'm still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam them. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam them. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam them. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam them. Then I'm still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam them. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam them.
If you ain't talking money, then I don't want to talk.
Still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam them. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam them. Then I'm still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam them.
Get ready for the most glamorous event of the year, the U2B Streets Awards 2025, February 9, 2025, at Laven Midtown, located at 641 West 42nd Street, New York City. Join us at 12 p.m. for the pre-show red carpet extravaganza and a chance to win $500 in our fashion contest. from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Enjoy the gold tier experience with speakeasy confessionals, press interviews, and premium cocktails. At 4 p.m., the platinum tier includes performances, a comedic host, an awards ceremony, dinner, and gift bags. From 8 p.m., the diamond tier features a VIP after party with a DJ, aerial dance, fire performances, and gift bags. 24 YouTube categories and many nominees. Can't attend in person? Stream the entire event live on Hush and Move Media via Uscreen for just $9.99. Get your early bird tickets before September 15, 2024. Visit now. Be a sponsor. Be extraordinary. Be there. Be great.
Hello, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's entertainment. And yes, we will be going over the Trump and Harris debate starting tomorrow. I'm gonna let things seep in just a little bit. Everybody get their little feel. And I come in and I'm going to review it because let's just face it for what it really is. Politics. Who gives a damn about politics? Who gives a damn about anything as far as the let's just call it for what it is, mess that most of these politicians put them in. But you relatively put your bid in, you voted for them, so this one is going to be a little different. I am not for neither candidate. I am neither for Donald Trump nor Kamala Harris. But this is going to be an interesting debate. But I have a little bit more importance to talk to you about. And that's this thing on gentrification. And for me to go on a tirade about this, before I can go on my tirade, I want to first show you this video from activist woman Jessica Jackson. Jessica Jackson was in a town hall meeting and literally blew up the web, literally blew up the internet with her speech. And to give it a broader context of what went down, the Democratic, you know how they usually promote, they promote to get the people's attention. And what was said was that Black people are ignorant to immigrants. As what do we have to do with immigrants? Since when do I give a shit about an immigrant? I'm literally worried about what do I have against an immigrant? I have nothing against them. But it is a sign that says we hate immigrants. You remember the Stop Asian Hate bill that was last year? Pay attention to what they're trying to do. Pay close attention and see if it doesn't concern you at all. See if it doesn't concern you. See if it doesn't affect you at all as a African American, Black American, whatever you want to call yourselves. And that's another thing. We don't even know who we are, but that's a different show for a different debate. I would ask you that this is going to affect you in the same way as that Asian hate bill. I'm telling you right now. You don't believe me? Stay in your lane. stay in your lane. Instead of me going off about this, I'm just going to go ahead and show you. Fair use, fair use. Yeah, I don't tell the way, but I don't want to hit that button again. Let's see. This thing will stop again. Okay. I like to go to this thing straighten up. There's no so I can go to. Oh, here it is.
Don't hang no signs about black people hating on immigrants, because black people ain't got no reason to hate on no immigrants.
Oh no, but the immigrants got
We have everything y'all are in there, son. Let me tell you something. You get them signs down. Anytime that Alderman Lawson and Silverstein and what's that other?
Cesar
They sit up
Lopez.
here and talk
Lopez.
about how they should get a hate crime bill because SWAT sticks was in Ziploc bags in their community. They hung this in our community. We want it off the polls. We want that to be the beginning of a hate crime. And that organization, which is a white liberal organization, like in the words of Malcolm X, who told us what? That the white liberal is the worst enemy to the black man.
Yes.
And
To the
it
black
is
American.
coming up in here acting like y'all representing some social justice.
Say that,
But all along,
Say
all
that.
you're doing is trying to use black people
Say
to
that.
find a reason to make some money.
Say
Let
that.
me tell y'all something over there. We're done. The Democratic Party is done. You ain't gonna mess with us like
Y'all
this
gonna
no
abuse
more.
us.
I'm telling you what I'm
They
telling
get to
you.
abuse the black
Trump
American.
gonna come in here and gonna clean it up. I'm telling you, the ones that have a righteous heart. You leave the Democratic Party. Do just like RFK Jr., just do like that Tulsa lady. You better get up out the Democratic Party. Save yourself, save your families, save your dignity, save your jobs, and save your seat. Because if y'all don't, we coming for your seats. We ain't taking this no more. We ain't taking no disrespect from a bunch of people who have broke into the country and now have completely broke the city, have completely broke the country, have completely disgraced the United States of America. America is a disgrace. And for us, oh my God, what a solution. You give us a fake, black, cackling hand of a candidate with a vice president that's talking about he want to put tampons in the boys' bathroom. Ain't nobody do this. The number one function of a president is to be the commander-in-chief. You tell me anything about a Kamala Harris that look like she can protect this country after y'all have sat up here and let it get overridden with a bunch of illegals.
Democrats.
Y'all have sat up here and put America's hands in all kind of wars. And you telling me a tampon man that ran from duty don't even know what his rule was. Kamala Harris, who don't know what race she is, gonna protect this country? The devil is a lie. Y'all better keep them signs down.
Yeah.
I know that.
Oh, she was cooking, was she? Well, we all know what we all know what mainly this is. This is called. I mean, the same thing that happened up there in Colorado. Same thing that's happened in Chicago. Same thing that's happened in LA. Same thing that happened in New York. It's gentrification. It's gentrification. If they can't get you out one way, they will literally figure out a way to get you out in other ways, whether it be political or not political. Why would you send Venezuelans prison Venezuelans over here to take over Colorado. Why would you do that? I mean, and how many black people are in Colorado? What's the number of percentage of people in Colorado? I say what, 16%. 16% of I'll give it 15%. 15% and people in Colorado, really? Negroes in Colorado, okay, and they're about 85% white. You literally have lost your damn mind. But I would speak to Deion Sanders, and I would definitely say you have really lost your damn mind. They wouldn't go in a white neighborhood. They wouldn't even live going in a white neighborhood to do none of that type of shit, none of the rich neighborhoods. And they're not going to do anything for you. You can't call the police. You can't. I mean, there's a lot of people who complain, but there's nothing they can do about it. There's literally nothing they can do about it. So we're going to put a team together. Okay. All right. So what's happening in Colorado? What's happening in Chicago? And there's been a lot of things that there are a lot of dealings in Chicago. It's no different from what's been happening in New York. And I would encourage people to go to Amazon and look up Gentrification. I think it's by Jason Black in the Black Authority. He still has 8 a.m. I'll encourage you to get that. And I'll also encourage you to get Gentrification. Really good videos to look at. Yeah, but like I said, people are real. It's a real kind of icky feeling going on here, especially in this time. People are uptight. People are upset. People want action. People literally want action. And then there's people who just want politics, who just want to be governed, who want the government to think for them. And I think it's about high time we start doing things for ourselves. Organization is the only way to go. Organization. I don't know why this is so. I don't know why this is so difficult for people, but people often look in all types of ways to try to gaslight and say and make excuses otherwise to why we can't organize. It's always this and it's always that, and they always go to horizontal issues. I could care less about what you're dealing with. It's like how can we're down here? How the hell are we going to get up here? How are we going to ever get to up here? And there's only a handful of people who we can take with us. Only a handful. For example, going into the next clip. When I review that whole thing on beef, there are some people who literally want this thing to work when it comes to organization, but there's just too split. There's too many personalities. There's too many, and none of them. It's the thing. They can say it's this. It's Jim Crow. It's rap music. The Nicki Minaj's, the Cardi B's, the Sexy Reds, the Lil Nas X's, the ones that are holding us down. And then you got these niggas saying, no, it has nothing to do with wookie wookie woo. It's the white people. It was the white people who did the drugs first. It was the white people who, did snorted cocaine up their nose and was holding all types of parties and shit. It's all effective. What white people do usually, you'll catch black people do. Not everything. Not everything. If white people were snorting cocaine, black people were doing weed. I'll say it again. If you catch white people snorting cocaine and doing heroin, and I can name all down the list of rock bands and celebrities who have been doing cocaine and drugs and all that stuff. But then I can only come up with a handful. If you only come up with one, to be perfectly honest with you, actually two, and that was Rick James and Richard Pryor. All did cocaine. But if I mention Eddie Van Halen, Poison, Ozzy Osbourne, Red Hot Chili Peppers, some people from Metallica, some people from Guns N' Roses. Those are a lot of people who did drugs. But there are a lot of people in the black community who did drugs too. That's just face it. So what do we want to do? You keep wanting to blame certain. You keep blaming music for underlining your people the way that they are today, and I have to say, it's more to it than that. It's more to it than that. It is propaganda. It is propaganda. It's just it's a little bit more to it than what you think. And we all know the problem. We all know the history. So what are we going to do? At this point, I'm at the what are we going to do about it at this point? If you keep saying, and I hate when people just give up. I hate the type of people that often say, it's just time to give up. If you're the type of person that complains and complains and complains and complains that this won't work, that won't work, Dr. Claudette is what black labor, white wealth will not work, then we need you on the side. We just need you over there for right now. Because at least with Dr. Claude Anderson, he tried to make it work. But people like you did not want to help Dr. Claude Anderson. People like you had a problem with Dr. Claude Anderson dealing with these particular politicians. I forgot who they were. Don't even ask. Because I'm going to tell you, I don't know. I have to go back into the archives and find out. Because what he wanted to do in Detroit, and that's make a black town in Detroit, Michigan. In Detroit, Michigan. And sorry to say, they were people like you and saying that, we have everything in white America. Really? So Asians coming into the country, you have what you have, right? Certain immigrants coming into the country, you have what you have. You want to buy from them. You want to buy and you want to sell with them. Chinatown, Hockey Town, Court Town, Mexican town, but no black town. And in your biggest complaint is, well, their products are too expensive, but you have no problems buying Tommy Hilfiger. And Tommy Hilfiger is the most prejudiced person ever. But you bought from him. I never knew he was racist until somebody told me. Then I end up giving away his stuff. So we will be reviewing the next clip. And remember, it's no problem. I have no problems thinking. I have no problems thinking. I have no problems thinking and feeling. You know what I mean? I have no problems thinking. I have no problems feeling. But the one thing I want to is act. But how are we supposed to get anywhere we need to go when all we do is complain all day? All we do is complain all day. Let me see if I can find this thing real fast. Let me go ahead. Why don't you go here? Before, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Give me 1 second. Enjoy some late night music.
Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam. Then I'm still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam. Then I'm still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam.
Okay, I'm back. Now that I end up finding the thing that I was looking for, we can go ahead and review this particular clip from the Lapeef Network. Fair use, fair use.
To even obtain
signal, stay connected, man. You got that roof connection going on.
I don't know why my camera doesn't want to.
What to start with you, Trey?
have to really deal with our issues. I think that even when you go to therapy, you got to realize like things hit you deeper than you think. You know, that's the revelation I got today. Like things bother you still that you thought you fixed, or you thought you got over, or you didn't deal with it before the way you thought, and things trigger it. Just like when Law said that brought back memories. This one right here, I had to call 911 for him. You know, he almost lost his life when he was 1 year old. I had just did infant CPR class. I don't know. I was just trying to start a random business, and they taught me how to do CPR in that class. And you know, I ended up saving his life, but not because of what she said. She was trying to, like, sometimes the 911 people can be like frustrating. It was, if I depended on them in the ambulance, he would have been gone. I was about to lose him. I reached into his, you know, mouth, swiped out. It was something stuck right here, like a little shelf piece that he put in his mouth, and he was turning blue. I ended up pulling it out, and that's like a no. You're not supposed to put your finger in there, but something told me just to pull it out, and he was just fine. Like I was freaking out. I was like I didn't know what to do. It was you're just like in a day. So I definitely feel her. I know what she, you know, had went through, but thank God he was, you know, he made it alive. So we do need to go to do CPR. You gotta know what a defibrillator is. You gotta know how to use those things. If you have children, that should be like a prerequisite, because anything can happen at any time, you know, and for grown people too. So we got to get more educated about how to handle like choking and different things, and about the drugs. Like, they're grown people. There's nothing we can do, but you got to really think.
But we all know our favorite Future songs, our favorite music, all that stuff has drug culture plugged in and promoted within all of it. It's promoted. You know, even our favorite producers from all of our eight, if you this situation and him was not, he wasn't healthy. Go ahead.
So,
Go ahead.
so
Chanel.
are you saying that she may became desensitized to checking on him?
I want to.
And maybe.
Well, no, she said.
Salute to my uncle in the building, Mr. Nightish himself. What's going on, my guy?
Said that when she started first telling the operator, she said that he was, I don't know if she used the word hanging out, but she said he was down there, and he was down there on the couch doing his thing, and she said she went upstairs, you know, get ready for the night or whatever. She said he never came upstairs. When she woke up, she realized he never came upstairs. So she obviously fell asleep as well. And then when she came downstairs, she said she saw him on the couch. She's taking the kids to school. She said she put a blanket on him. She must have thought he was still asleep. When she came back from school, then it was like, all right, you still ain't moved yet. I can kind of see how that happened. And, you know, she's like, okay, he still ain't moved yet. Right. And then that's when she tried to touch him or whatever. Yeah, and then that's when she realized, okay, this.
Yeah, these are all horror songs.
I mean, we know drug usage is rampant within rock and roll. Other than a freaking Mac Miller, you cannot tell me a white artist in 2024 that is rapping about drug usage like our artists are. Why can't we like call a spade like Darwin is saying? Like, y'all are trying to pull back the 70s artists, and it don't even make no sense.
Okay, Amy Winehouse, Lil Xan, Lil Pump, Lil Perk,
who the hell are all these? Every rapper has a little attached to their name to it. I don't know. I gave up on rap a long time ago.
Shit, who's like? It's not that many. MGK, I think he be talking about that shit too. Eminem was talking about it for a long time. Like he probably was the first person in the rap song I heard talking about prescription pills.
It sounds like,
again, they're in rap culture. They're in black music. They're literally in the black music lane. Other than Amy Winehouse, everybody else you just named are in the black music lane.
First list I gave was rock and roll, and you were saying you already did that. And then you said name a white artist. So then I went and named white artists in hip hop that do it.
I think Rufus was trying to get in there.
And considering the fact that the group that listens to that has the largest demographic as far as listening to hip hop, the ones that are in the stadiums watching them do the music, also are white. We're sitting over here we're pathologizing black folks for shit that happens in every single community. Every single community has music that promotes, if not promotes, drug use.
My turn. Thank you. All right.
I didn't speak for like damn near an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Come on now.
You gotta let him.
It's all good though, JR. It's all good.
He was cut off.
No, you ain't finished. I thought you were saying the same thing that you was just saying. So I was like,
it's all good. Go ahead.
All right. So
I don't care if they're baby SoundCloud rappers or not. Freaking Sir is from SoundCloud, and Sir is a damn good R&B artist. He's not one of these mumble rappers that, nah, bro. No, I'm not going.
if I listen to Sweeney and Law, like y'all make excuses for everything when we're trying to make a point. We're trying to get something done. We're trying to create a solution. You getting mad and you arguing the point is not solving anything. We're over here making these faces because we get frustrated, because this is how we get away from trying to get a solution. Yes, it's drugs in some of these white people's music, but we're talking about a majority of our artists. I don't know those white artists that you're talking about, but you can't. They have country, they have love songs. They're allowed to have all types of songs. I'm walking through the supermarket. They can talk about love. They can talk about anything. The only thing we talk about is the same thing: the drugs, the murder, and all of these things, right? And we know they are getting a check for it. We know it's propaganda. We know that people are selling their soul to do this stuff. What we're trying to say is the majority of our stuff, we got one-sided. Back in the day, it used to be positive Black music and negative Black music. Now we have no positivity to balance it out. Do we have positive artists? Absolutely. But are they on the main stage? Are they represent the culture? No. So let's just get to if Casey's telling the truth, why can't we just for a second shut off our need to be right just to hear what she's trying to say? I get it. We're not demonizing Black people. We're saying this is a problem. It's not just our problem. It's not because it's innate in us. It's something that is kind of perpetuated and pushed and marketed and funded. So there's all types of forces that we don't see behind it. So no, we're not demonizing Black people. We're saying, Black people just got to talk about drugs. No, they're getting paid to. We're getting paid to look bad. Why don't we come up with a code to say, you know what, we're not going to do this anymore. If you guys want to do this for a check, we're not going to support your music anymore. But if we keep arguing the point, it's not bad, we're not bad people, let us do it. You white people do it too. We're just not going to get the solutions that we need.
It's their music.
We're not.
Hold on,
y'all. Let Sweeney finish.
It's their music. Either you listen to it or you don't. Their music, they can sing about and talk about whatever the hell they want to sing about and talk about. It's their music. You don't want to listen to
love?
Hold on, let Sweeney finish.
They do talk about love. There are plenty of artists that talk about love. In fact, the artists that we're even talking about talk about love in some of their songs. They talk about being done wrong. They talk about playing people and when it comes to love. They talk about losing relationships. They talk about gaining them. There's a number of artists that talk about Black music isn't just about murdering and drugs. There's plenty of there's a whole plethora of Black music that talks about a plethora of things. So if
I would like to see that in my lifetime, I would like to see in this age, in this genre, an R&B artist that isn't talking about pussy, talk about love. Name one. I'm not talking about Tyrese. I'm not talking about the Genuines. I'm not talking about the Eric Benets. I'm not talking about none of them, because they were from a little bit from my era on to the millennial side. All right. Tyrese, I am a little older than Tyrese. Tyrese is from the old school era, right? Name one of today's R&B artists. I don't even, the music of today sucks. It just plain sucks.
It's their life. They're rapping about their life for the most part. Is there some fake ass motherfuckers out there? Yes, but
you cannot police artistic expression.
Sweeney,
As an artist, as a filmmaker, you cannot.
Y'all so hypocritical.
What we're gonna bring up?
You cannot police
y'all the same
artistic
ones that want to
expression.
y'all want to tear Tyler Perry down because of the images that he put out to the Black community on Black women being so hurt and beat down by Black men. Y'all like so hypocritical on this whole conversation. Like we were literally on an education tip from Sereal to Bruiser to Chanel and Ruth and Trev. We literally were talking and educating people on drugs and what our community. We were talking to a point of education and uplifting, and we need to be aware. Where did the conversation shift to? Well, white people do it too.
Because somebody has a difference of opinion on the topic. The difference was we have a difference of opinion on the topic. You all spoke.
Law, what's the difference?
The difference.
I just want to throw in there that our music.
Hold on, because we got to make sure that the conversation is controlled so that everybody hears. Let's make sure we wait till the other person finish, and for the people that's speaking, try to keep it short, like 1 minute 20 seconds, so other people can get their turn as well.
There'll be some dissertations going on in here tonight. All I'm saying is, bro, the difference of opinion came to be when we are speaking on like your opinion. A lot of what I heard tonight was also basically someone's own trauma that they've experienced or witnessed. That's not everybody's reality, right? On top of that, like everybody doesn't have drug addicts in the family and what have you. So that's a difference of opinion when it comes to how we hold on. I'm not done. I'm gonna listen. I wasn't even referring to you. That's what I'm saying, right? So secondly, on top of that, you have to remember you cannot police artistic expression by calling us hypocrites and saying we're the same ones that say this and that about Tyler Perry. That's not necessarily true. I don't like his stuff, so I just don't support it. I don't watch it. See how that works? If I don't agree with it, I don't watch it. I don't have to down it.
So, Law, you just said you wasn't talking to me,
like
so how would you think that I was talking about you? I've never even been on a panel with you before. So why would you think I was automatically talking about you?
Well, you said y'all, right? You said y'all are hypocrites is what I'm referring to. And then
I don't know. What do you guys think of it so far? What do you guys think of this nonsense so far? Because literally we're just talking nonsense. Because I just remember it being, it started off literally with somebody beatboxing. When I was growing up, it literally started with me, with somebody taking their hands and beatboxing and making noises with their mouth. Then came the cardboard box and the mixer with the mixer. They call it a mixer, of course. It's just two record recorders coming together, and one's actually playing the actual record or whatever, and the other one you can just mix, and we call that breakdancing. Drugs weren't involved then. All you had was niggas with baggy pants and breakdancing on cardboards in the middle of the street. Now you got literally drug problems, and you literally got crackhead hoes. Literally have crack hoes, crack babies, and whatever, whatnot. Let me just late. And yes, it did come, and crack did come from that particular era of rock and roll, if we're going to be honest here. But at the same time, did we have to mimic it? No. Did Jay-Z have to sell crack cocaine and whatever, what have you, just to survive? I guess maybe didn't make it right, but he often said it in the songs why he did it. Those are horizontal issues. What are we actually arguing about? What is the solution to what is going to be the solution to the problem? No one that can never come up with a straight solution. Although I know there are few people here on this panel, few people here that are going to be just lighting it up. One of them is going to be Sereal. Let's go.
Then you started going into different things about Tyler Perry and what have you.
Just
All
like
I'm
you
saying
said,
is
y'all
you can't
are
police.
different. You have a different opinion.
Listen, right? Y'all are trying to police artistic expression. As a filmmaker, as a that's just something that I don't like when people.
What we got here? No one says it shifted in 1992 when the labels had meetings on only distributing negative music. Listening to Crazy Bone video, young lady, you've been brainwashed. Ooh, Crazy Bone. You talking about Crazy Bone, the rapper? From Bone Thugs and Harmony? No, I heard they've been bickering lately. But are you talking about that?
Because you can't tell someone how they can create and what they can do. It's all about consumption. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. But I also don't want us to sit here and try and say, oh, it's the black culture that's doing this because of the music. That's not the case. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody said anything about Whitney Houston. You know what I'm saying? Nobody said that she was promoting drug use, right? We didn't talk about that. But
I dropped Whitney Houston like 45 minutes ago.
All
right, I do
She
want
really
to
did.
Hold on, I want to get to Chanel.
Oh, breaking news. Someone just gave me something about the whole Tyrese situation. And somebody's doing something on that. Dr. Umar. Oh, this is interesting. Breaking news. Tyree goes to jail for not paying child support. Oh boy. Let's find out what they talking about.
When the guy moving on, so they do it out of like malicious intent. No, I got my baby on the phone, girl. Hello. Okay, I'm coming in. So they do it out of malicious intent, and then they also do it because because there's a lot of guys here in Chicago, they don't like to take care of their kids.
Why you say that?
They don't like to take care of their kids.
My Chicago brothers, they pay their child support. Cut it out.
Okay. No, I promise you they don't. Chicago people is different from the other people in the world. I promise you. It's like everybody is.
Chicago is his own country, huh?
It's his own country. It's his own
Chicago.
world. Like
Chicago made me famous.
I like Chicago too because when I get away from Chicago, I get homesick. But Chicago is its own world. Like, and it's bad out here. Like I got PTSD real bad. I even had to start seeing a counselor.
Like, share, subscribe to the channel. I have no interest not interest. I have no say when it comes to child support because I've never been in child support court. But I'm gonna need some help, y'all. I'm gonna need some real help. Please help me.
Oops. Proud with Chicago. September 18th is my 14-year anniversary. I blew up from Chicago. I am Chicago's favorite adoptive son. Yasa Senegalese, I'm in the building. Harold Washington Center, I'm in the building. Such a gem going once. Such a gem going twice. Such a gem. Where you at, Such a gem? Where you at, my queen? Hey, beautiful. Love the natural hair. Where you at?
Oh, thank you. In New York.
New York City. That's the
yes, traveling to school. Y'all gonna see the bus in the background, correct?
What's going on child support crisis in New York? Are sisters trying to punish men for not wanting to be with them, or are brothers just don't want to take care of their children? Where you at on the child support crisis?
I honestly feel like it's trying to punish them because I don't know. I feel like on a grand scale of things, number one, I feel like women should wait to even have kids until you're married. So the fact that we're doing all of this without marriage is already a red flag. That's one. Two, I think it's this new hip hop society, whatever, that's like make
Wait to have wait to have kids until after you're married. Is that normal in today's society? Having kids after you're married, is that normal in today's society? Obviously not. It wasn't normal then when I was growing up. It's not normal now. But if I would say this, if you're the type of person that can't wait to have sex, but you end up marrying them anyway, then you have no issues. You literally have no issues. Because if you get them pregnant and you marry them anyway, that means you fell in love with them, you are in love with them, you cherish their every walk, you cherish their every smell, you cherish everything about this person. And there were no oops babies. It was like, I got you pregnant. I got you pregnant. Yes, we're going to deal with this. But guess what? Here's a ring. I want you to wear this ring as a token, as a symbol of my love and appreciation for you. There would be nothing wrong with that. But instead of that, we get to, so what you gonna do? What you mean? What am I gonna do? What you gonna do? I want to have this baby. I can't have a baby on 2 months I'm bad. Yes, it is bad for you because I'm out. That's how it is. That's how it is. It's sad, but it's true.
making it seem like baby mothers, baby fathers, like this is the new thing, like it's a wave. And I feel like that's really brainwashing. And then you have like the sexy red talk about put them on child support or whatever. It's like it's all just I just feel like it's all wrong, to be honest. Yeah.
I feel you. Do you think we would ever be able to create our own child support system in the Black community without having to go to white government? Do you think that's something that's possible?
Ideally, I do, right? But here's the thing. I feel like you would need to get all Black people together to band together, right? And it's like, how do we get them to go to that stage? I'm not too sure. But ideally, I mean, yeah, I mean, that would be great. But I don't know. I feel like it is weaponizing. I feel like it's also a form of way to keep the Black men down, to emasculate them. And I don't know where we go from here.
I got you.
Yeah.
Thank you for wisdom, my queen. Be careful out there. All right.
Thank you too.
On love. We have too many Black women out here for brothers to be bunny hopping. We have too many Black women out here for brothers to be bunny hopping. We have too many beautiful Black women out here for brothers to be bunny hopping. Who tapping in? I got one more tap in, 1 or 2 more tap ins, and then I got to go link with my man Nick Cannon. 1 or 2 more tap ins.
Which I will be covering. I have a complaint. Why is it everybody's complaining that Dr. Umar is getting this much shine? Because they want to know, they want to his brain, they want to know his intellect. That would be why. And for those who have so much care in the world about who he wants to see or who he's seeing, you guys really, really have an interest when it comes to Dr. Umar's personal business. Well, I'll tell you, you're a bunch of freaking hypocrites. Those who keep saying that Dr. Umar should settle down, but all of a sudden he wants to settle down. He wants to be in the dating realm, but he can't particularly date because he has an update for the school. But you were just arguing that he's not married. You were just bitching and complaining that he's not married, but yet he can't date. Make up your fucking mind, will you?
Sister Nicole going once. Sister Nicole going twice. Sister Nicole going 3 times. How you doing, beautiful Sister Nicole? Where you at in the world?
I'm good. I'm in the DMV in Maryland.
Say that again.
Now, there were 3 women thus far. None of them hit the wall. Just saying.
In the DMV in Maryland.
DMV, okay. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. What's your take on child support wars? Are black women just being too thirsty for money, greedy? They want to punish the men for not being with them, or black men trying to punish the women by not paying and they just don't want to be accountable? Where you at on this?
I think there's a mixture of both. I disagree with the last sister who said marriage is the answer, because I was married. I had 3 children in my marriage. And when we got divorced, I didn't go after child support because I did not want this system, all of that, to have to tell us how to raise our kids. That was a strong conviction for me, and it was used against me. I've definitely regretted it because the struggle has been real for me with 3, post-marriage, post-divorce. And so I think there's a group that fits the narrative that's been said to this point, but I don't think that's all of us. There are some who genuinely want to work together and raise our kids and do what we should, even if the marriage or the relationship didn't work. And you don't always get buy-in to that. And if you don't, then you're forced to go that route, which is something to this moment.
How much does Tyreek owe in child support? Does anybody know? Can anybody figure that? Can anybody look that up and figure it out?
I don't want to do, because I don't feel like it's needed. I don't want the system to have to tell us what to do with our children and how to be responsible. It's not needed. It shouldn't be needed, but in some cases it is. You don't have women out here that are all of us that are trying to use the system to keep our brothers down. That's not the case for all
Let me
of us.
ask you a question, Queen, because you decided not to go the child support route,
right?
But you could have.
Right.
In your experience with our black women, why was it different for you? Because a lot of sisters, I was in child support. I'm currently paying child support for a 15-year-old beautiful daughter. My eldest is 22, so that child support discontinued a few years ago, but I paid for her since she...
Jesus! Damn, he owes at 45. Hello? These motherfuckers don't stop calling. Anyway, he owes $73,525.73. And no, he's older than me. He's a year older than me. He owes $73,525.73 in child support. Judge Kevin Farmer gave Tyrese 48 hours to avoid jail time if he paid that money. Is he broke? He's actually broke? Wait a minute. I'm not naive to Hollywood. I am not naive to Hollywood because there's Hollywood stars and there are Hollywood gatekeepers. Tyrese is a Hollywood star. Vin Diesel is a Hollywood gatekeeper. Especially with The Rock. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, is a Hollywood gatekeeper. Because obviously he's done things in Hollywood that promotes gatekeeping. And that is, everybody knows what gatekeeping is. So, but wait a minute. I thought Tyrese was. Let me look this up real quick. How much is Tyrese worth? How much is Tyrese Gibson worth today? How much is he worth today? It doesn't say. Around 4. Jesus Christ. I need help, y'all. I need help on this one. I don't know what this. I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say. Tyrese, to me, he has to be one of the good ones. He just has to. But for him, the old soul. Rumor has it that his baby mama, I guess, needed more money. He was paying up to 20. He was paying up to 20 some thousand a month. Now I guess, depending on where he is, they can increase it once it goes to a certain amount of years, and then if she wants it, she can increase it within those certain amount of years. This is what I heard. This is what I've heard. God damn. No, wrong one.
He was 6 months old, maybe 3 months old. Her mother took me immediately because she wanted me to marry her. And when I didn't marry her, child support became the punishment. Why were you different? What is it about a lot of sisters who they run straight to child support as a means of trying to punish the men? The ones who do, some have to go because the men are being responsible. That wasn't my problem. I was taking care of my children. I was put on child support because I didn't marry the mother. What made you different? Like, what is something men should look for when we're dating women that let us know that if this don't work out, she may try to punish you with child support?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with where they come from. I think vetting a partner has a lot to do with where they come from. Meet their parents, find out about their story. I grew up in a single parent household. My mother and father were college sweethearts. They got divorced when I was very young. My mother remarried when I was 5. So I watched how my mother navigated my situation with her ex-husband, my father. And so that was a very important blueprint for me in terms of doing your best. And not that they were perfect at it, but doing your best to work together so that it didn't require going that route. Okay. And it wasn't always successful, but I think that was a really important part of my perspective, right? Was what I saw. Now, the opposite can equally be true. You can have someone that came from a horrible, traumatic, toxic environment and make the choice to have the opposite because of the effects that had on them. So it's one of those things where finding out the history, I believe, is a really big part of adequately vetting a partner. Finding out where they came from, what kind of environment they were raised in, what type of values that produced in them, and as a result, what do they want in their parenting journey? And asking the questions, if we get married and it doesn't work out, then what? Nobody gets married with the intention to get divorced, but it happens. The statistics are wildly accurate, more than half, right? So then having the conversation about where did you come from? How did that affect you? What do you want futuristically? And the what ifs. If this doesn't work, what's the plan? If we are equally committed to the children that we bring into this world, regardless of how our relationship may twist and turn, right? And of course, all this is hypothetical, but I think a lot of these conversations aren't being had prior to marriage or prior to non-marriage that is sexual, right? Either way, they're very important discussions that I don't think we're having so that we're going in blind. And then if you're dealing with someone who already has children, that is your blueprint. And women do this all the time. It blows my mind how women will believe whatever story because we're just so desperate to have a man that you're not vetting. If you want a part of the breakup of that relationship, you need to sit down with that woman and ask, what type of father is he, right? What type of relationship do you have with him as a co-parent? Not any.
And see, it's interesting that men want so bad to have family structure, but yet they don't or they act, I could be wrong, they act like they don't want to spend time with a woman. And when I say spend time, I mean spend time. It doesn't necessarily have to be with money. It doesn't necessarily have to be with money. Money, I mean, money comes and goes. I mean, you make it, you lose it, you lose it, you make it. But there are other things to do besides get into a relationship and just happen to spend money, in my opinion. But either way, spending time with your woman. Number two, learning how to vent with your woman. Not everything, not entirely everything, but express how you feel about her, because she's going to express to you how she feels about you if you're into that intimate relationship. That's a shame. That is a damn shame. I'm still thinking he owes all that child support and he's worth $4 million. Now I know it doesn't mean anything, but he should have some ducats in the bank. And what permit him? I don't even want to go into the story, but this is the question that I would ask if I was interested. If I was interested in the story of Tyrese, but Tyrese is been on a tear lately on the internet. He's 1 minute he's happy, the next minute he's sad, the next minute he's having a nervous breakdown. Now I understand his mother dying. I understand he had allegedly lost a sister. But nigga, make another Fast. You're gonna make another Fast and Furious, and you're gonna make the money. You're gonna make another Fast and Furious. It's gonna come up soon. It's gonna be like two episodes or two movies, 2 episodes, whatever. You're gonna make the money. You're gonna make the money. But Jesus, I did not know you owed this much. I don't know what to say to this. I don't know what to say. I just look at Tyrese as being a good guy who was misunderstood. You know what I'm saying? He just needs to vent somewhere else. What I would do with Tyrese, this is not going to reach him. I wish it did. Tyrese, take your ass to Africa. When you get out of jail, pack your stuff, go to Africa somewhere. Go to Ghana, go to Nairobi, go anywhere. Go to Kenya. I heard Kenya's a wonderful place. And see if you don't get another a breath of fresh air. Tyrese needs to leave the United States immediately. The loss of Paul Walker, the loss of his mother, the loss of his quote unquote sister, and now his ex-wife is increasing child support and expecting him to pay $73,525.33. He's in jail. I don't know if he got out. He better call Diesel. He better call Ludacris. He better call Rosie Perez or whatever. I'm not joking, but this is crazy.
Being romantic, assuming the integrity of that is intact and you guys are done, you're co-parenting. What does that look like? Because if that is not intact and then you go and have a kid with him and expect things to be different, then who was really bamboozled here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't put all that on the men. Like, we have a lot of responsibility as women. And again, you talked about this earlier. Are we holding one another responsible? The answer to that in large part
Let me
is no. And it isn't just
good
about
question.
child support.
Great. Let me ask you this before I let you go, my queen. Some brothers argue the reason why they're going to the snow bunnies is because if it don't work out, the snow bunnies are less likely to put them on child support. They're not as vindictive as Black women if the relationship doesn't work.
And that's bullshit. White women will put you on child support and spousal support faster than you would say boo. No shit.
Do you agree with that? Is that necessarily true? Do you think white women take it a little easier on the brothers who are not at the top of the pay chain? Or is that just an excuse to snow bunny hop?
I think both. I think it's definitely an excuse for the bunny hopping. I think the laundry list of those is forever, right? The excuses. But I do think there's some merit to that argument. But in order for us to give merit, we have to talk about why. White women are not exposed to the type of trauma we are. White women don't know what it's like. Most of them were born into the privilege of being white and female. So the idea of needing a court system to make your partner, your ex-husband, your boyfriend, whoever he is, show up for your children conceptually is foreign to most white women. So that's not something that they're running towards because that's not a part of their struggle. So I don't believe to have that conversation in part without the backstory, right? The type of trauma that most of us come from, the fact that most of us come from single family backgrounds, right? We watched our mothers struggle. Most of us, not most, the statistics are high of those of us that did not come from two-parent environments. So we've already got a predisposure, right, to the struggle that's involved. If you saw your mom struggle as a single parent, then if you have a baby with someone who you think might not be a good dad, running to child support as your safety net, I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying there's a backstory involved in that is not the story of our white counterparts. It's just not. So to have that discussion without talking about all the pieces is just not fair. Because they're not up for the struggle we are. And most of them, if the men don't come through, they have dads, they have moms, they have family support.
They don't have to depend on them.
There we go.
They have that financial network. Good point.
We go. The people that have come through for me in my post-divorce journey are my parents. My mom, my dad have had to do a lot for me and for my children, and they shouldn't have had to, but I'm an anomaly in that respect, right? Most of the women I know that have the single parent experience don't have parents that either can, or some of them, their parents are already gone, right? So they're not in a position like the village concept that most white people come from. Most of us don't come from that. Right. So that's another part of it too, as to why the child support system is sometimes utilized. And I'm not an advocate for it because I know some really good fathers who've been taken extreme advantage of by it. But again, I'm on the opposite end. I didn't do it, and I was definitely taken advantage of for that.
Thank you for that, my queen. Great wisdom.
You're welcome.
Great wisdom.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we'll go through this another time. I just wanted to see what was up. Like, damn. So, Tyrese. Yes, you need to take some time away because you have been all over the internet with mixed emotions. Do you have a mind to? I don't know. I have to check. Yeah, you've been all over the net with mixed emotions, and you just need to break from America. Go to Africa. I see. I know you've probably been to Africa more than one occasion. I think if you haven't been there, you need to go back. If you've been there already, you need to go back. Excuse me. If you've been to Africa, you need to go back. If you have not been to Africa, please take your black ass to Africa and just breathe, start over, start natural. Because what's happening right now in America is crazy. It's bananas. It's all over everywhere. But back to the original thing that I posted up on there, and that's gentrification. Gentrification is everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. What I posted earlier, and for those who weren't here, I posted a lady. I will play it again, and this is very important, and this is something to look at. What happened in Colorado? What's happening in Chicago now? You need to be aware, because if you are in a city, thank you. If you are in a city, oh, Lisa, you're going to love this one. If you are in a city where you know when the property is low, someone's going to come in, purchase the property, and if you don't take their money, obviously you have pissed off somebody who really wants that property. And any and everything to that property. And with everything coming up, the election, which is, I mean, the debate that's already started, but don't worry, I will get to that tomorrow. Don't worry, I will get to that tomorrow. I'm gonna let everybody get their little feeling, and then I'm gonna come in and we're gonna review it. But this one is a activist, is a lady by the name of Jessica Jackson. Jessica Jackson. Let me see. Black people hating on immigrants. Nonsense and worse. Nonsense and worse from who should know better. Bob Akron, official. Let's play it.
You don't hang no signs about black people hating on immigrants, because black people ain't got no reason to hate on no immigrants.
Oh no, but the immigrants got
We
the reason to
everything
hate on
y'all
us.
are in there, son. Let me tell you something. You get them signs down. Anytime that ordinary Lawson and Silverstein and what's that other?
Cesar
Can sit up
Lopez.
here and talk
Lopez.
about how they should get a hate crime bill because swastikas was in Ziploc bags in their community. They hung this in our community. We want it off the polls. We want that to be the beginning of a hate crime. And that organization, which is a white liberal organization, like in the words of Malcolm X, who told us what? That the white liberal is the worst enemy to the black man.
Yes.
And
To the
it
black
is
American.
coming up in here, acting like y'all representing some social justice.
Say that,
But all
sister.
along,
Say
all
that.
you're doing is trying to use black people
Say
to
that.
find a reason to make some money.
Say
Let me
that.
tell y'all something over there. We're done. The Democratic Party is done. You ain't gonna mess with us like
Y'all
this
gonna
no
abuse
more.
us.
I'm telling you what I'm
They
telling
get to
you.
abuse the black
Trump
American.
gonna come in here and gonna clean it up. I'm telling you, the ones that have a righteous heart, you leave the Democratic Party. Do just like RFK Jr., just do like that Tulsa lady. You better get up out the Democratic Party. Save yourself, save your families, save your dignity, save your jobs, and save your seat. Because if y'all don't, we coming for your seats. We ain't taking this no more. We ain't taking no disrespect from a bunch of people who have broken into the country and now have completely broke the city, have completely broke the country, have completely disgraced the United States of America. America is a disgrace. And for us, oh my God, what a solution. You give us a fake, black, cackling hand of a candidate. With a vice president that's talking about he want to put tampons in the boys' bathroom. Ain't nobody doing this. The number one function of a president is to be the commander-in-chief. You tell me anything about a Kamala Harris that look like she can protect this country after y'all have sat up here and let it get overridden with a bunch of immigrants. Y'all have sat up here and put America's hands in all kind of wars. And you telling me a tampon man that ran from duty don't even know what his rule was. Kamala Harris, who don't know what race she is, gonna protect this country, the devil is a lie. Y'all better keep some signs down. Yeah. I know.
That was Jessica Jackson. If you read the sign, it's pretty much it's no different. It is no different. It is no different from the Asian hate crime bill. It is no different from what's happening in New York. It is no different than what's happening in LA. Major cities are going to get gentrified. That's just what's it. And if you're not prepared for it, then you're just not going to be prepared for it. Simple as that. What does George Joe Brown think about all this? I wonder. We'll get to the other stuff later. We'll get to the other stuff later. Let's see. Like, share, hit the subscribe button. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. I think I'm gonna have to go back. No. I guess we can.
For what Casey was saying, our music is the only music that in the history right now that constantly has trial because of drug conversations in the music and leading to different drug raids and pandemics, epidemics in the different cities. But I don't really see. I know the other rocking all that heavy metal
and racketeering, Chanel, and racketeering.
And racketeering, we're the ones. It's our music, you know what I'm saying? And and I follow all of it. So in the last 6-7 years alone, Tekashi, all of them, all have had trials, and it's all been about the music conversations in it. So we are using our music to sell drugs and leading to crime, and we're on display all the time.
Donald Trump is making his little speech,
that's something to support.
And now here Kamala Harris making her little speech.
Our music is the ones that are doing it the most.
Like I said, I'll be reviewing it tomorrow.
When she was saying that, we're not saying that all the other ones don't do it.
I think that's an incorrect assumption.
I will definitely be reviewing it tomorrow.
All right, hey, go ahead, Sereal.
I started.
Okay, let's do this. Sometimes YouTube, sometimes this thing will be tripping. Hold on.
The process towards freedom and liberation. Because we aren't taught the truth about Black Reconstruction, we can't learn the much needed lesson from that moment in history, which is identical to today. And when you can't learn from history, you are doomed to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it.
Many of us who have not studied, for instance, Reconstruction history, the history of the United States, particularly of African Americans during the 1860s and 70s, may think that we are entering a new era in American history. We may think that the things that we're witnessing today, the elections of Blacks to political office and their appointment to various positions, their activities in various corporations, and so forth, is something new in American history. And yet, a study of Reconstruction history will quickly convince us that we are currently undergoing deja vu.
Many Blacks during Reconstruction saw an opportunity towards freedom and liberation through the promises of equality under the system. In just 5 years, legislation was passed that appeared to be a moment of progression for Black people in America. Just like today, Blacks were given voting rights, civil rights. Blacks were holding government positions, and we were gaining back control of our life and labor. But what appeared to be progress began to unravel at the seams. As a people, the promises of freedom. Within months, over 40,000 freedmen migrated to this area.
That's too much for y'all. Come on, how are you? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Okay, I found what I was looking for. Let's go ahead and review. Let's go ahead and review this real quick. I will be reviewing the Kamala Harris, Donald Trump phenomenon going on right now. And they're just jabbering back and forth. It's not, I look at it's not really interesting, but people say it is. I know when I see it. I know it when I see it. Oh, I'm good, boo. How you been?
The Democratic Party is done. You ain't gonna
Y'all gonna abuse us.
They
get to abuse the Black American.
You leave the Democratic Party. Do just like RFK Jr. Just do like that awesome lady. You better get up out the Democratic Party. Save yourself. Save your families. Save your dignity. Save your jobs. And save your y'all.
I know. A lot of people are reviewing it, and it's a farce. I mean, it's not even the hype. People are reviewing this woman as being the hype. He's gonna put me to sleep. So, like I said, I'll watch it later. I'll watch it later on tomorrow. I'm doing the show on it tomorrow anyway. I'm just gonna ask y'all the same question I've been asking for the past couple of weeks now. Who are you on for? Who's going to be your candidate for 2024 through 28? I think it's 2028. 2024 to 2028. Who's going to be your next presidential election? Will it be former President-elect Donald Trump, or would it be Madam Vice President Kamala Harris?
We coming for your safety. We ain't taking this no more. We ain't taking no disrespect from a bunch of people who have broken into the country and now have completely broke the city, have completely broke the country, have completely disgraced the United States of America. America is a disgrace. And for us, oh my God, what a solution. You give us a fake, black, cackling hand of a candidate with a vice president that's talking about he want to put tampons in the boys' bathroom. The number one function of a president is to be the commander-in-chief. You tell me anything about a Kamala Harris that look like she can protect this country after y'all just overridden with a bunch of immigrants. Y'all just sat up here and put America's hands in all kind of wars.
I'm always making yellow.
You telling me a tampon man that ran from duty don't even know what his rule was. Kamala Harris, who don't know what race she is, gonna protect this country? The devil is a lie. Y'all better get some signs down. Yeah, I know that.
Okay.
Straight out of Chicago.
Okay, you brought out the humping hyena chameleon. Yeah, the scavenger. Okay, I like that.
All right, so Miss Jessica Jackson, introduce yourself, Miss Jackson.
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
My name is Jessica Jackson, born and raised in Chicago. And I lived in California for 35 years after I graduated from college. I went to LA. And my mother passed in 2016, and her estate went into probate. And probate is just one big horrible process here in Chicago. And what I started noticing was that the immigration thing was taking place too. But at the same time, I started noticing that immigration was just one way that they were stealing Black people's property, that they were moving us out of neighborhoods. Another way was the probate process, eminent domain, illegal tax evictions, and the list goes on and on. So I came to City Hall last year to address the mayor and City Hall about the issue of probate. And from being there, I got more involved with the issues of immigration, because at the end of the day, all of it is tied in together. So from going down there all the time, because I'm in City Hall anywhere from 2-3 times a week at all the meetings, that's how I met George Blakemore, who had been down there for years. Zoe Lee was down there because she was protesting for her mother's property that had got taken by eminent domain by the city. Michael Young Bay, because he was dealing with homelessness for him and his family. So those issues kept us coming down there all the time, and that's how I started coming down there.
All right.
So this, that speech you just gave, that was at City Hall?
Yes.
And that, because was that the same time? Was that the same night, P. Ray, with? Because I have your clip as well. That was 2 different nights.
No.
This invasion of illegals, particularly in sanctuary cities, Chicago, New York, now Ohio. We're going to get into that a little bit later. This has been going on for what, 2-3 years under this administration. So what is the climate like in Chicago? Is it getting better? But, they're getting a lot of resources. I know that. So what is the climate like right now in Chicago?
You want to take that, P. Ray?
Yes. It's crazy, y'all, but it's a good thing. I actually believe that the RNC should send Brandon Johnson a check, because he is turning Chicago red faster than anybody else in the history of this country. Our people already were having issues in this city, like Ms. Jessica said, with the housing. This is what brought me over here, which is why I went to the White House to talk to Ben Carson, because I'm like, somebody lying. We got $1 billion of housing funds, but yet we got people living in Iowa and sleeping in tents. It doesn't make any sense. And so the illegals were the breaking point. And that breaking point came when they started to show their food stamp receipts. So there are receipts floating around the social media platforms that show that these illegals are getting thousands of dollars of food stamps. Chicago was the meat market of the country. So we like delicious, fresh food. This is why Chicago is a foodie town.
Hi, brother. I want you to know I am here just moving around. All right, love you, sis. And by the damn way, why is it that once upon a time I went to go get my food stamps and they only gave me $150, but they're giving these illegal immigrants $1,000? Fucking shameful.
So for us to see them getting all of this food money while mothers are doctoring up noodle cups for their children was egregious. And so we're done. I mean, honestly, Chicago is red now. Whoever is saying Chicago is blue, it's never going to turn red. You're not out here talking to the people. Black Chicago is done. I was just on the phone today with Chinese Chicago. They've been watching the Chicago Red movement and they're ready to link and come on board. And they said we typically as a community don't even vote. That's not even our culture. But we see that this illegal immigration issue is huge for us. The Mexicans are on board with us. The Poles are on board with us. The Irish are on board with us. Like, Chicago is a segregated town, but we are united 10 toes down together to get rid of this illegal immigration situation, because what it has caused is for our property taxes to skyrocket. So that means taxes are going up. Rent is going up. That means mortgages are going up. One guy said that his taxes went from $23,000 to $127,000. And he got to come up with that money, or the city's going to put a lien on his building and take it from him. So something has to give. And people are saying that that solution is in dumping the Democrats and adopting the MAGA movement.
But let me interject this real fast, please. That whole situation with housing. See, this whole thing with gentrification that's affecting our housing. And that's a real problem here. And that's what's sticking out the most. That's what's the most hurtful. That and employment. You know, Chicago, like P. Ray said, has always been a segregated city. And we've always lived that way. And it's always been okay. You know, it's just the way that Chicago, we like it. You know, we like it. The thing that's historical about this is that for the first time in history ever, you've seen the South Side and the West Side of Chicago come together. And that's a beautiful thing. And the thing that brought that together, again, the issue with the immigrants and the fact that, well, I did the first press conference last September. September was that 2023?
Yes.
I did, and that's when I talked about the Southwest Invest money and the fact that the previous administration had said that the South Side and the West Side was going to get all this money to invest in for economic development. COVID came, everything ended up being about COVID. When COVID was over, all the emphasis suddenly became about the immigrants. No more conversation about the economic development in our areas. That was a problem, a real problem. And how this whole turn red started. On the South Side, we were talking about it. Then on the West Side, they were talking about it. And before you know it, all eyes were on Chicago, because Chicago had always been heavily blue, the Democratic machine, as they call it. And we really start giving, I would say, Black people more confidence around the country to start looking at the Republican Party and going red, and really start looking at what the Democratic Party had been doing to us and our communities. And that's how this whole turn red thing really started taking flight. And I'm really glad that it has.
Let me ask you a question. Did the blue folk offer any rationalization as to why they were turning Chicago into a sanctuary city and why they had this immigration policy? Did they offer you any rationale for that?
Well, what they said is that Chicago, historically, Chicago was a sanctuary city for runaway slaves, because we are bordered by two slave states to the south, Missouri and Kentucky. So people would run out of those states, come into Illinois, run up to Chicago, and then we were a sanctuary. In 1985, Mayor Harold Washington, by executive order, made Chicago a sanctuary city. And that was to help the illegals or undocumented work in the Chicago city government. Okay, so that was one way to push Black people out of government. But then in 2013, Rahm Emanuel made it an ordinance that was voted and passed in the city council. So then it became on the books. And then in 2017, Lori Lightfoot took it one step further and said that the Chicago Police Department cannot assist ICE in any way. The Cook County Sheriff cannot either. And then we became a sanctuary state, so the Illinois State Police can't do it either. In each instance, the voters, had nothing to do with this. We never voted for this. And actually, I had a radio show, Black Excellence Hour, a show for people with high self-esteem. We talked about this on the radio, on WBON. I said, you know, guys, we as a people, we need to just get these petitions. Everybody go to your neighborhood, sign a petition so we can put the ordinance question on the ballot. Well, aldermen were listening to the show. They said, P. Ray, you don't got to do that. We can just take it to the city council for a vote. So they took it to the city council to have them vote on whether or not the voters would have the option of voting whether or not Chicago would remain a sanctuary city. Well, the day of the vote, my alderman was physically attacked by a Mexican socialist alderman. My alderman is 72 years old from Arkansas. She's been in the city council for over 20 years. This man grabbed her and manhandled her and made her not want to go into there, right? So he disenfranchised my entire ward. That day, they canceled the vote. They came back a couple days later and they voted that we did not get the option to have a voice in our sanctuary policies. And so now we're being spent into a hole when they could have just given us an opportunity to have a voice. And that's where a lot of this frustration is coming from as well.
But it's another piece that went in there that you missed. All that is true. But also remember, when Brandon Johnson got into office May 2023, he signed an executive order for immigrants and the Refugee Act. And that's when he appointed that deputy mayor, Beatrice De Leon, and he appointed this Hispanic cabinet. See, that was the hoodwink. When they introduced this sanctuary city, well, this immigration thing, just like they misled us about them being asylum seekers, they also misled us to make everybody think it was just about Harold Washington. And Harold Washington wanting a sanctuary city because everybody knows that Harold Washington was such a beloved mayor here in Chicago. So that was the way that they would reel the Black people into accepting this, putting it on Harold Washington, when in fact, that's what's going on right now has absolutely nothing to do with Harold Washington. That's all about that executive order that Brandon Johnson signed as soon as he got into office. And that day of the voting that P. Ray is referring to, not only did he block Alderman Mitts that day, he also blocked Alderman Talaferro, Alderman Lee, Alderman Cardona. But what they did, again, to trick the public, they watered it down to just being about him blocking Emma Mitts, to make it this Black Hispanic thing, when the reality is he blocked several other aldermen. And the reality is that's how he was able to stop that sanctuary vote from getting on there after Alderman Bill had worked really hard trying to push that referendum to get on there. So what Rosa did, he cheated the whole city. That was a perfect example of suppressing the vote. And he was not taken out of his office. They didn't make him sit down. In fact, when they voted on whether or not he should be able to continue to serve as an alderman, it ended up being tied 25-25. Mayor.
No, I don't really understand politics. All I know is you're being locked in box. Organization is the only way I can see myself not out of this situation, because we really dug ourselves a hole. But what I can say is, if we start the process, we would be as far ahead. No, we're about damn near 300 years removed. I mean, this system of white supremacy really did a number on folks. And most of it, you know, I'm just sorry to say that our people just won't admit that this is Willie Lynch, that this is the product of Willie Lynch. Really going against the grain. But I'm just glad that people are starting to, or are not starting to, I'm so sorry, that people are talking back and forth and trying to find the solution to our problems. And then one talking about the only way we can organize is to family first, which I like that idea. I like that idea. Saving my money. I like that idea. I really do like that idea. You're missing something. What happened when I went in? Oh, I forgot. You're the head, right? You're the head above everybody else but God. So God is first, you're the head, and she is the what to you? The neck? I'm just throwing it out there as a question. So if God is first, if God is up there, if God's in charge, and man is the head. The head, he makes the decisions, he makes all the money, right? Which absolutely makes no, I mean, that's all fantasy, right? Because not everybody makes six figures, but I'll give you it. So you pay 100% of the bills, right? In this economy that we're living in this economy where everything is upscale, you pay 100% of the bills. So what does she do? Unless you are a owner of something, unless you control your own establishments, unless or of course, if you make six figures, if you make above, say, I don't know, $65,000 or something like that, or $125,000. If you make above, let's just say, I don't know the math, I suck, but let's just say you make $33, $34 an hour. That would be fine. That would be great. But most of us don't make that much now, do we? We make under $44,000, $45,000, $46,000 a year. So while you're faking the funk, what are your women doing? Your women are less arguing now. You're doing less arguing and actually doing something. That's why I feel as if, hey, maybe they are the leaders. Maybe they are the leaders. Not saying that men hadn't lost their luster, but women are actually showing you how it's done. But women also know they cannot do it without the men. They cannot do it without them. So the discussion has to be with, the man and the woman. And I'm gonna look for another one. And I wonder what Dr. Umar has to say. What up?
FICO score was introduced in 1989. That's when America started deny Black people opportunity. And when you start scoring higher, they will change the goalposts. Let Black people fix their credit up. Listen to me. Let Black people fix their credit up. Let's say everybody Black has fixed their credit, and we now have the highest credit scores in the country. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to introduce a new variable. They're going to introduce a new criteria. They're going to introduce a new scale. They're going to introduce a new factor to make sure you don't get the opportunity. It's the system. This is why we say vote for what? It's the system. This is why we say vote for what? You keep on trying to win in the system when the system gives us the right to build our own systems. Yeah, we can't have our own criminal justice system, but we can have our own school system. When are we going to create our own systems? We're too lazy, too self-hating, too religiously immature to work together and build our own. It ain't about dismantling his system. That is not where your effort needs to be. Stop focusing on destruction and start focusing on construction. Stop focusing on destruction and start focusing on construction. Stop focusing on destruction and start focusing on construction. It ain't about tearing down his system. That's reactionary. Stop being reactionary. Be proactionary.
Hello there, how are you?
I'm all right. Where's that accent from, beautiful?
I'm in the UK, but I'm from the Caribbean. So
Which island? Caribbean is a big place.
Real quick before I move on, I might end up coming back tonight. I'm not sure because something came up, and I gotta get up in the morning. But I think I should be back. I might be back tonight. I was like, and do the review then because tomorrow might be a little jinky. So just be fully aware. But haven't you ever noticed in most male live streams that every man wants a submissive woman, and the type of submissive woman that they want is someone to acknowledge them, correct? What are they acknowledging? If you cannot make the money that is needed, because the truth be told, women are not impressed by your money. They're not impressed by anything. They just want to know if you can keep a roof over your head. That's mainly about it. Will you not cheat on them? That's another one. Will you not do something to embarrass yourself and furthermore embarrass your family? That's another thing that they want to know. They keep moving the goalposts. They keep moving the goalpost after goalpost after goalpost. And the only thing a woman can actually do is make something for herself. And it's worked. They're the ones that actually are coming up with solutions. When are men coming up with solutions? Because men are starting to become overly emotional. I mean, you don't start off that way, but I'm looking and I'm seeing some of these dudes. They don't start off that way, but it ends up an argument, a bickering, a back and forth argument between two males. And then it goes from two males, because a lot of men proclaim sharpening swords is a good thing. But as I see it, it's no chill, right? But luckily, we got the OGs that are saying, hey, let's just slow this down. Let's just slow this down a little bit. Because we all know that, it's cool to sharpen swords and everything when you need to, but once it gets to a certain plight, there ain't no talking no more. Women is like, they're looking at us and they're going, oh, okay, so what are we doing again? All right, making this money. And when they get tired and when they come back over here and then go back to your regular scheduled programmer that's working to make ends meet.
I don't want to have to keep going through this cycle over and over and over again, but it's the norm. It's the norm for brothers and sisters to be so separated from each other until one actually says enough is enough. You either get with the program or no. And I'm not dissing I'm not dissing any network. I'm not dissing the Peef network or nothing. I'm not dissing them. I'm not dissing DJ Ham's live that was today. And it was just basically talking about how women file for divorce more than men do, and men want to get married, and that's 99.99% of women always file for divorce. That is a whole bunch of BS coming from that side. Love you, Hank, but the people you have on there, wink, wink, is you're not going for it. We are not going for it. Let's continue.
Which I
St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Okay, I never been to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I was in the UK about 3 weeks ago. Did you get a chance to come to my event?
No, I really tried. It was like in 5 minutes, it was all
Yes, ma'am.
sold out.
I will be back there October.
Oh yeah, and another thing before I forget. The Africans that you so-called, I'm just going to put that out there, that you hate, there is a small percentage of African immigrants who come in this country, right? And on the lowest of the totem pole, they are literally right here. Everybody else is up here. African immigrants are down here, and they work a 9 to 5 just like everybody else does. Same with the Haitians. I remember telling y'all that I got people who are Haitian living underneath me, and they do Uber. Come on. They do Uber. They do catering. So they work their asses off, really, just like you and I. Are they not suitable for reparations? Are they not suitable for reparations? Just a question. Just the question.
October 21st through the 27th. If you message me, I will be sure to send you the flyer once it's available. And we'll probably be doing a couple of events. So there'll be something in London, probably Birmingham, probably Wolverhampton, Manchester. We're going to try. All right now. God bless you. All right. Coca Kyra going once. Coca Kyra going twice. Coca Kyra going 3 times. Where's Coca Kyra at? How you doing, Princess? Where you at in the world?
So my name is Kaki Kira. I'm from Philly, though.
Kaki Kira, you in Philly now?
Yes.
All right, Kaki Kira. What part of Philly?
I'm from South Philly.
South Philly. What's on your mind, Queen?
So I have a podcast. I've been to college. I've graduated. I work for a nonprofit. And like you said, we individually can't make as much of the impact as we want. I feel like it has to be community, but I think it starts with education. We are very ignorant, like as a whole. Like even the people that know are still not knowing because, you know, like they say, someone who thinks they know everything knows nothing. So I feel like I see a lot of people say homeschooling, but that wasn't really a solution because in COVID, everybody got left dead. So how can we put...
Everybody was homeschooled and the parents couldn't deal with it and the children couldn't wait to get out them houses.
Exactly. We can't put that burden on them. So we got to get our Black educators. That's why I'm loving the fact that you're going to build a school. I'm here for it. I can't wait to send my children there when I do have children because I don't have children. So I feel like this is my chance to put my all into my community because I don't have as much distractions as my counterparts maybe.
Yes, ma'am.
So my question to you is, okay, since we're talking about solutions, my podcast, I have a segment where I say, what Black and brown businesses have you supported?
Why are you saying Black and brown?
Because like you said, we are so used to including everybody that has this skin because we are minorities and we think that we're stronger together than separate. But honestly, we need to focus on our community because like you said, it's never been a time where it was
So
just
why
us.
do you keep saying brown?
Because that's something that I'm just now, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Understanding
Okay.
why talking to you. I see that.
And we want what's best for the brown, but our priority has to be ourselves.
We want what's best for everybody, but we want to get on the same page more than anything. Us, Black,
Right.
African Americans, Africans, people from African descent.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is that segment made us see how much the Black dollar doesn't come, you know what I'm saying, back into our pockets. It makes us see like, well, dang, why are we not supporting the same people that we want to see succeed? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like even when we was fighting for women's rights, it was the white woman in the front and the Black woman in the back. And that should have been like that if we was fighting for women's rights. You get what I'm saying? So we got to get our organization together, but it can't be loud because we saw how that went. We saw how many cities were thriving and got burnt down or they put water over it. And you know what I'm saying? So I feel like a lot of people are intimidated because we are capable. I want everybody to stop thinking that we are not capable. We are more than capable of doing it. But every time we do it, there's some type of
excuse. Oops. There's all types of excuses. I'm just going to answer for the lady. There's excuse of, well, this has been tried before. Well, let's try it again. But this time a little bit smarter, and a little bit tactical. A little bit smarter and a little bit tactical is how I proceed to get things done. A little bit smart. We already knew what happened with Fred Hampton. We already knew what happened with Martin Luther King. We all knew what happened with Malcolm X. We all know what happened with Medgar Evers. We have the formula, so let's proceed to do what we came here to do in the first place. It's been too long, but yet we also have to do is excuse all the excusers for having so many excuses. Too much for you?
negativity behind it. We had Black Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? We've had things. So I'm tired of people trying to act like we can't do it because we can. It was designed so that it could slow us down. The credit scores just came in the 70s? That was another thing implemented to slow us down so that we wouldn't be on the same page.
The credit system was created to deny Black people resources.
HOA was created to say, if you could afford this house in this neighborhood, we need a housing authority that's going to tell you that you don't quite fit our criteria. So me, I'm a housing counselor at a nonprofit organization, and I'm trying to get my Black people, my underprivileged people housing, whether it's transitional housing, temporary housing. I'm trying to get them to be homeowners, because I feel like us having land will be a great thing to start with. I feel like we need to build our own communities. I just graduated from construction school. I was in an apprenticeship. So I know how to build a house from the ground up. I know how to do the rough work. I know how to do the finished work. I can drywall, tape, spackle. So I want to learn skills that I can pass down, and not just my knowledge, because I'm learning that I went to school to because they told us go to college, and I'm making the same as somebody that's a high school graduate. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not designed. The goal is going to move every time we get closer if we try to seek validation.
Right, unless you have your own.
Unless you have your own. So now that I have all of this in me, it's like, So how do I share this? That's why I started a podcast on YouTube so that our views could be, you know, better explained, or even just so people could see it, because I am young. I'm 26. So it's like, but
see what I mean? She has her shit together. What about you? There are literally women calling on and presenting who they are as entrepreneurs, people who make lots of more money for themselves with no excuses. And with that, the extra money can be contributed to something greater. Housing market, we all know that we're going to get duped by housing market. It's due to gentrification. We all know we're going to get kicked out of our homes. We all knew that. But yet we don't have our own system. We don't have our own system that is designed to keep us where we are, to make us who we are, and that are kings and queens of the community. Kings and queens of the community. I want everybody to look up Black Man's Burden. Excuse me, I'm sorry, White Man's Burden. I want everybody to look up White Man's Burden. Nah, it's an old movie by John Travolta. And John Travolta's character is in the poorhouse, right? He's poor, trying to make ends meet, running around jobs here, jobs there. And he goes into the rich neighborhood is designed by Blacks. He sees that there are a plethora, a majority of Black people who are just filthy rich. Now, obviously that story has some drama to it, but ultimately it sent a message. It's like we as people, as a people, as melanated people, as the Moors, I should put it. Different story for a different day. Us as melanated people, if we can set our minds into something, we can accomplish anything. The ladies are doing it. Why can't you as men? Why can't us as men? Hell, I would support you more if we had like a franchise full of restaurants. I would support you more if we had a franchise full of grocery stores. That makes money. And when you make money, you make revenue. Sweeney was just arguing. It was like, why are we not flipping that money to 8 to 12 times? We don't own shit. Not necessarily. There are very few stores that you find. Very few stores. I have nothing against Sweeney, but he was right. He was absolutely right. But I can also say that the lady that was speaking on the Lapeef show, when she said that we just spend money on Gucci and Prada and all this other stuff, which is true. George, which is true. So we're speaking the same lingo, we're just going a different direction. So I don't know what the hell the problem is. With this woman right here that Umar is talking to, she's giving a blueprint of what Black people need to do, and Black people need to save up some money and do a little sacrificing. What's $20 gonna hurt? What's $20 gonna hurt? If you're making big buku money, you can't seem to keep your shit. Why don't you put $40 or $50, $60 up every month, every 2 weeks, every month, every year, and build our own establishments in our name. Too much like right, huh?
So how do we start? How do we start? Because I know some solutions, but I want to know, how do we implement the solutions?
Well, the number one, here's the thing. Solutions are not a mystery. The problem ain't the solution. The problem is organization is needed to implement the solution. That's where the issue is. People say, what's the solutions? That's easy.
Right.
When you have a group of people who are willing to sacrifice time and money, it's easy to fix your problems. Our issue is we don't have the psychological commitment. Black folks don't want the psychological commitment. You know, it's just like somebody who would rather work 50 years at a job instead of spend a couple years to build their own.
And I'm on that path.
They would rather suffer the long term than to suffer the short term. And that's Black people. We would rather suffer the long-term racism than the short-term struggle to create our own infrastructure.
I agree with you 1,000%. I am not buying into a program that's going to pay me out at 65. I want to spend my money before 65. I want to be retired and being able to have several different incomes. And so that's why I'm basically working at a nonprofit. I want to share, as a housing counselor, I want to share that financial literacy. I want to share credit building. I want to share just doing workshops. I feel like that just is helping better with the community, the sense of community and sharing knowledge. I'm a community health major, so I'm very community oriented, even though I know like I may have figured out a path. I'm trying to get my sisters and brothers on the same path.
I got you. I got you. Thanks for checking in, good sister.
Yes.
Let's link soon.
Yes.
All right, Mom.
With I need to start. What I want to do is I want to look up some individual programs, where the youth are involved, and not like the YMCA or anything like that. And what I want to do is I want to get some people, and I want to interview some people from our Southern community over here, and to pick their brains about how, if we were a nation full of Black people, or let's just put it this way, a nation full of melanated people, no matter where you come from. You can come from New York, LA, Dallas, Chicago, Detroit, Miami, or you can be overseas. You can be in on the coast of Africa. You can be in Jamaica. You can be in Australia. I just want to pick your brain, right? When it comes to how does shit get done? And that's what I want to do. I want to start interviewing people who are becoming mayors, senators, becoming this and becoming that. I just want to interview mayors. I want to interview governors. I want to interview legislators. I want to interview those who, if I had any genuine interest, which I don't, becoming one a mayor, a governor, a senator, whoever. How do we turn this thing around for our people? Because we forget, we're about 200, 300, 400 years behind. We're locked and boxed. We're like almost dead last. I would say just pack it up, and whatever they give you, they give you. When we talk about reparations so much, we can't even argue about a reparation. We can't do it. We cannot even. We can't even decide what's right for us without an argument. And I understand the frustration. I understand it. But at some point in time, you're gonna have to come with the table with something, and we gonna have to, hey, we gotta get going, or else you're gonna be left behind. I ain't got time to be arguing with you all the time. What the hell I gotta be arguing with you for? Let's just get shit done, man. Let's just get it done.
With rock music, did I not start with heroin usage and rock?
Somebody argue with Chanel about proof. We have proof that drugs can take a life. And somebody stated how hard it is to get you off of specific drugs. And my only question was, if you know that, and these people are aware that if you get on these specific drugs, that there's no way to return. I think Cheryl stated it perfect. Your family member is pretty much gone. Your child, this is somebody's son, is pretty much gone. It's over with. If we know that and we pick up a microphone and we promote it, isn't it safe to say that the person that's promoting that drug, knowing that it can influence people to go and do it, because we got to face it, young kids today pick up drugs because they think it's cool. I even remember one time when I was young and in school, and I puffed a cigarette because I thought it was cool. I saw artists, I saw actors, all kind of things smoke a cigarette. I was like, oh, that's cool. That must be cool. They think it's cool. So I'm gonna ask again. If you promote drugs and you know that the people that listen to you are influenced by you, they inspired you, they look at you as a God on the microphone, and they would do everything you do. They would dress like you, cut their hair like you, dye a little spot in their fro like you, like the Wiz Khalifa era. Are you anti-black? I rest my case.
Let me say
You did that, Bruiser. You did that.
Let me say this. This is the problem that I'm actually having. Is art imitating life, or is life imitating art? I believe that art imitates life.
I'm sorry, y'all. That was a wrong one. Sorry about that. That was a wrong one. Okay, this is the right one.
And nigga, I'm gonna give you so much aid, so much assistance, so much free stuff that you'll never ever get out of your position. Never. And I'm gonna make you think that it's reparations. Do you know that when we were segregated, black people didn't even want free stuff? We wanted to work for our shit.
Neither one of y'all was talking about reparations.
We were proud of our companies. We were proud of our families, our businesses. We were proud of that. We didn't want nobody to hand us nothing. We had our own bus lines. We had our own businesses, our own barbershops, our own restaurants, our own schools, our own.
But yet we are still at 1.5. Hell, I will give it 2 just to be graceful. I will give it 2 just to be graceful. When it comes to wealth, the wealth gap, we are far removed. Far removed. We have not moved not one iota. Not one fucking iota. So you can give me, and when we were segregated, we had this and we had that, and blah, 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 woody, woody, woo. But yet we got a nigga in LeBron James, a billionaire, and not even put not built not one institution for black people. Not one. And he's a billionaire. What about Michael Jordan? The hell with Mike? He ain't no damn politician. He even said it himself. I am not a politician. I am a basketball player. 90% of your athletes are not role models. Charles Barkley was never a role model. He was not. So don't expect hip hop artists to help you out. I mean, maybe if you did something and they saw the light. Oh, it's not upscale. It's not upscale enough. It's not upscale enough. Yeah, because you're so used to kissing the white man's ass.
Education programs.
Preach,
Bro,
preacher.
All of that shit is gone.
Do you know why?
Preach.
Do you know why they was pushing for integration? Do you know why they was pushing for integration? They were saying like, because when they said that we were separate but equal, there was no equal. That's the whole reason why they push for integration. It's so that we can have the same access to the same textbooks, to the same schools. That was the whole reason why there was a push for integration. You talking about we was way better off during segregation is simply false.
Somewhere.
Just because there was,
You're both right. It could
So-
have been a minority was doing well and the majority was still failing. That could be true. Two things can be true at the same time.
So Bruce, you even mentioned so you mentioned the word segregation quite a few times right now, and you said even our marriage rates failed. Are you trying to
No,
imply
I
that that's
said I said we were excelling as families in marriage when we were segregated.
point? So how would you? So do you think it only affected Black people? So how would you say that? How would you explain the decline in other races as well, particularly white?
Me never
in that same time period.
The same resources.
Well, what I would say the decline. I would say, and I'm not gonna this part. I haven't done the research on that to try to push facts on it. But what I think happened is when we got integrated, we started to build wealth, communities and stuff, and take on traditions and cultures from other races. We kind of went away from our own. When we used to buy ice from the Black person or the Black merchant on the corner store, we was happy with that. But we got, for some reason, we were told that wasn't good, or we thought that wasn't good. We wanted to go buy the ice from the white man when ice is the same damn shit. Is nobody's ice is different. You know what I'm saying? But we wanted it from the white man. We wanted to sit in the front of the bus.
The white man's ice is colder.
His ice is colder.
What are y'all talking about,
No,
man?
these are things that actually happen. These are stories that I've read about and I heard about. And these are things that I wasn't here in this time, but I can tell you that there's times in history where Black people excelled when we were in unison, when we had a mutual interest. We've always
So Bruce, the question that wasn't really the question. The question was, how do you explain the decline of marriages within the white races, and how do you explain the increase of drug use for them too? Because they are also having issues. It's not just us. So I think that blaming segregation might be a stretch, because even if you look at the drug rate, the Census Bureau reports that it's 8% of whites, about 9% of Hispanics, 6% Blacks that are using drugs. So what I'm asking is, how do you explain the decline of the entire nation when we're talking about segregation?
Okay, so I didn't associate segregation with the decline of relationships in marriage. I said that we were better off as a Black people. Now, when you bring in other races and you want to talk about the decline of marriage and relationships and all this stuff, I would argue that the anti-man movements, they call it feminism, the ushering in social media and online dating and pornography has crippled the connection and pretty much desensitized the connection we can have amongst each other. Women have replaced men with social media validation, comments, likes. A man can't even compete. A woman can post a half-naked picture and get a drastic amount of likes and validation, and it'll replace a man. A man can't post a nude or whatever and get that same type of validation. There's no way that he can compete with that. And then
I don't disagree with any of that, though, Darwin.
Is he right? The question is he right or is he not right? That is the question. Is he right? Were we better off in segregation? Or no, we could have done better. What do you think?
I don't disagree with any of those factors that you mentioned now, but you mentioned the word segregation like 4 times. So I was hoping you could tell me how it correlates to segregation.
In the context of Black people excelling.
Black people weren't excelling. They weren't. All you gotta do is look at the wealth data over those times. They weren't.
So
we were a bottom class then. We were a bottom
what
class
were we
then. We're
not
a bottom class now.
when we were
Wealth
working?
largely did not move in the black community for the last 100-some years.
So
No, we
let me
weren't
tell you.
doing better.
Let me tell you what integration kind of did to relationships, and you could say marriage or whatever. I would argue that some of the assistance and some of the aid that was given to black people and their families came at a cost, and it sometimes meant that the black man had to be removed from the household. And if you do that over and over in a repetitive manner over a course of time, that can single-handedly cause a drop in marriage and nuclear families.
Bro, you still trying to blame that on integration? That had nothing to do with integration.
Okay, so if you could say that it had nothing to do with integration, can you give me some context or correct me? I'm willing to listen, and I'm not going to call you a simp. I'm not going to misjudge. I'm not going to mischaracter. I'm just going to try to understand you. And maybe I could
Darwin,
be wrong.
you already answered it. You already answered it. Every other factor that you mentioned when I asked you about segregation was correct. You've already answered it.
Let me slide this other clip in there real quick.
So Lyndon Johnson, in fact, although good liberal that he was, at least in regard, Lyndon Johnson had a complicated career and changed positions on issues many times. But good liberal though he was at that moment, he was in fact engaging in a breathtaking arrogance.
Yes.
On two counts. One, that white people were the ones who were responsible for where black people stood in the race, that it was up to whites entirely. That blacks, as he described, I mean, I put
devastating.
it black people are passive, they're acted upon.
That's right. That's right.
And then the second act of arrogance is the supposition that somehow the federal government could fix it.
Yes. It is staggering. But if you wanted to be charitable, you could say, well, he said this in 1965. But if you say, all right, why are people now repeating it in 2013 when we've had nearly half a century of experience to the contrary? And if you look within the black community, those blacks who had escaped what I call the black redneck culture, they've moved on. So, but it's the culture the different parts of the black community had. They were different.
Bruiser,
So what did y'all hear?
Bruiser, if you look at the wealth data, you would know that black wealth largely has not changed over the last 100 years. We are not doing better. In fact, the generation that did actually do the best was the boomer generation. When they had access to home ownership through what program was that? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Where they were actually. You said what?
For $1, and we weren't able to buy it.
No. When black boomers were got access to home to buying homes and things like
redlining?
That. Not redlining, that prevented it.
Mm-hmm. Well, redlining meaning that you couldn't buy in certain areas, so they would pigeonhole you into purchasing in certain areas where the property value wasn't as high. You didn't have the opportunity to buy the land the way they did. You also had white folks had the opportunity to buy land for $1, basically giving it to them. And now that's what's creating this wealth, because that land that they got for $1 years ago is now worth $400,000 and $500,000, $600,000, $1 million, and what have you, that we didn't have access to.
Well, look, what I'll say to you, what I'll say in response to that is, I've read that when we were in unison, when black people were working together and they were segregated, there were times on a timeline where black people had created a large amount of wealth. I think they called it Black Wall Street or something like that. We were on the uprise.
Fair Housing Act, my bad.
That is correct.
Fair Housing Act.
You're right.
There was many occasions where the graph was going up, and there was an attack on that caused it to collapse. It was intentional. But then when we got integrated and we got introduced to the assistance that was pushed and promoted by Lyndon B. Johnson, Nothing happened. We were plateaued. The line never increased. And you just made the point. The black wealth has been the same for 100 years. So what did he market? Didn't he fail? If he can go back, if Lyndon B. Johnson can speak today, he would probably say the reason for that speech is because I anticipated if we give them these assistance, if we give them a crutch, if we give them safety nets, they can catch up with us.
Well, you have
he was fucking wrong.
Well, no,
and you just made the point.
No, I did
And
not.
that video was
2013.
If I'm correct, am I correct? He said
you wouldn't be able to catch up with them if you could, because that's just too far behind. And because of things like Willie Lynch, because of things like Jim Crow and Dred Scott, all those things, including HIV and AIDS, the syphilis, which you were an experiment on. What else? COVID, and what else is coming down the street? The election, all this stuff, gentrification, all this stuff is designed, including paying taxes. All this stuff is designed to make sure that you don't succeed or you fail. Some of you broke the mold, some of you have not. But clearly, you've been in a standstill for quite a long time. You have been in a standstill for years and you didn't even know. What do you tell your kids at night? What do you tell your kids? How can any of you sleep at night knowing what's going on?
Why is this happening in 2013? That was 10, 11 years ago.
But bro, you know what? One thing that we got to remember too, when we started talking about Black Wall Street, you got to remember that was a very small pocket, very small. It was only 10,000 people. You know what I'm saying? That lived in that area that were prosperous.
Black folks know they
what I'm
weren't.
saying. Black Wall Street was
Black folks was
10,000
largely
people.
wealthless.
There were
You know what I'm
multiple
saying?
cities.
Black folks were largely wealthless.
No, that was in Oklahoma. Listen, Black Wall Street, Ruth. Black Wall Street was solely in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Do we have
They
a Black
burned
Wall
that
Street
down.
today? Do we have a Black Wall Street today?
Were all over.
Similar, I understand it, but they destroyed Black Wall Street, is what we're saying. When we
Today-
talk about it, it's not saying overall Black people was up, because we weren't. There was a pocket
do we have number one?
Hold on.
Oh, I
There
thought
was
you
a
liked
pocket.
interruptions.
There was a
Interrupt
pocket.
everybody 15 times.
All right, so I sit here the whole time when y'all keep going, and then when I try and interject because you're gonna keep going, now it's cutting off, right?
Pretty much,
Y'all
we
got
the
it.
same thing with you.
No. Here's my two questions for you, Law. Number one, do we have a Black Wall Street today? I'm gonna answer that for you. No. Second question
Have you ever been to Hyde Park, Chicago?
I'm gonna
Have you
ask
ever been to Hyde Park in Chicago?
Okay, let me ask you the second question.
No, you asked me. You asked me the question, and then when I answered it, you want another question.
I just said I'm gonna ask you two questions. I stated the premise of where I'm coming from before I even started talking, so you can be patient. So the second question I'm gonna ask you: if Black Wall Street back in the 20s, 30s was still there, or was still here today, would it be an impact on Black economy right now today in 2024?
It absolutely would be. It absolutely would be. But the point is,
obviously,
that
if
I'm
you
making,
left Black,
the point I'm making is it was only when we talk about Black Wall Street and we saying you're using that as an example of Black people. Hold on, you're using that as an example of Black people being up, right? I'm just saying we have to remember it was only 10,000 people that lived in Black Wall Street in Tulsa,
Okay,
Oklahoma.
so understood.
It's not like this was prevalent all over, right? This wasn't prevalent all over.
Understood. It was just 10,000 people back in the 30s that were extremely wealthy. And we know that it would have been a huge impact today. We do know that a house that cost $10 back in the days costs $1 million today. What I'm telling you, I'm asking you, if you scale that amount of wealth back in the 1920s and 30s and you scale it to today's economy, how much of an impact would that have on the Black economy today? It would be, it don't even matter if it was
would have a
10,000
great
back then.
impact. But the problem, what I'm saying is, it doesn't exist anymore, right? They destroyed it. What I'm saying is they destroyed it, but we also have to remember that was a small pocket. It's not like that was going on everywhere. We go back to that because that was the that was the.
Hold on. Let me say one more thing, Kay.
So wait,
Darryl. Let me say one more thing, Kay.
Yeah. We can agree on such things, then why are we wasting our time? Why? Because there are the few that will actually get the message, will take part of the message and build upon them and build upon it with their bare hands. Or rather yet, make the money happen, make it happen. You know what I mean? I might be back a little bit later on tonight. To do that review. So be on the lookout for me. Until then, peace.